Hey, this is John Carlos, and I went to Beach Ball Comics, which is owned by Corner Store Comics, where I picked up this Harley Quinn action figure from the Infinite Crisis multiplayer online battle arena game. This figure features very minimal articulation. It includes a ball swiveling shoulder hinge, another ball swiveling elbow hinge. You got the swivel at the wrist. You've got the head, which is a ball joint, so at least that's good. And then lastly, you've got the feet. The figure stands pretty good on its own, but it does include a swivel at both of her little bunny slippers. I also want to mention that the foot is sculpted to be in a toe position like that. Sometimes when that leg can be further back, a figure can topple over, but this figure stands really good considering it's on the ball of the foot, the toe there. The sculpt of this figure is very well done, but if you're looking forward to an action figure with leg joints that you can move, you're going to be very disappointed. This is more of a McFarlane-style action figure statue, but that lack of articulation really does show off the sculpt quite a bit. And it's a good sculpt. I like the way her knees kind of bend inward. She's shifting her weight to the side of her hips and she's scooping that way a bit. And that looks really good. Also I like the bagginess of her onesies at the bottom here. And they did a great job sculpting her bunny slippers. They did a good job also sculpting in the diamonds. Now whether they actually followed the paint pattern of the diamonds is another thing, but just the wrinkling, the bunching here at the sides of her onesie, the sculpt of the buttons, the sculpt of her hood here, with the little ears hanging down. A lot of thought went into this, and you know, the funniest thing about this is the fact that her butt flap's peeling down and you can see her little Batman underoos underneath. I think that's a really funny, nice touch. Now let's talk about the paint, because the paint on this, there's a few things to note if you're hunting for this in stores. Her mouth, in between her teeth, there's like this little metal thing. It almost looks like braces, but if you look at the artwork for the figure, she does not have braces there, although on the side of the box she features a little gray line in between her teeth. But again, neither of those is supposed to read as braces, so I'm curious what's going on with this figure, because if that's supposed to be a gap between her teeth, it looks awful, and some of the ones I saw in stores are way worse than this. Not to say that this is necessarily bad, it's just an odd way to handle her teeth, as it can result in some really lousy paint jobs. But I picked out one that turned out pretty good. It's not really awful looking, so I recommend you take your time when trying to find a good one. Now the paint on the rest of her is pretty solid. Her buttons look really good here. The separation of black and red on her hoodie is very clean, including the paint on her ears. There's some, you know, skewed paint there, but just be on the lookout for the diamonds. I found some good, well-painted diamonds, but there are a few that are off on the back that I couldn't see from the front. Nothing drastic. It's not like they're circle or square shaped. They just, you know, don't totally fit the sculpt of the diamonds sometimes. Other than that, the other thing to be on the lookout for is her feet, her little slippers. I saw a bunch that had awful paint smears all over the slippers. Now I just want to give you guys a closer look at her head, because I think they did a great job sculpting her hair and the way it parts in the back here, and the little way it goes into these sculpted pigtails looks really, really cool. I've never been a fan of when she's blonde and has her hair dipped like in black or red dye. I think it looks stupid, but this one looks kind of cute and I dig it. But I think they did a great job with her eyes and the way her little eye makeup scoops at the end. Her eyebrows look good. Her lips follow a really good line and have like a good red wet paint to them. Even this tiny sculpting of her nose, I think this is a really good sculpt. Now we'll take a look at some of her accessories. She comes with this gun. It looks almost like a Nerf gun. And the sculpt of it's really solid. None of it moves, mind you, but it looks good. She also comes with these tiny, tiny pairs of glasses. One of the things I like about them is they have little lenses in them, and they're actually like see-through. You can actually see them. They're not all crappy plastic where you can't even like see through them. Lastly, she's got her huge teddy bear mallet. And the paint on this is really solid. There's like cleaner, better paint on this than there is on the actual action figure. The sculpt of it's great. I love the cotton coming out, but the silver paint here to look like duct tape looks great. And then all the stitching is really well done. It's a good, solid red with some good sculpting and you know, paint applied to the eye buttons. And all the stitching isn't just paint, it's like a sculpted stitch. And those sculpted stitches look awesome. Lastly, comes with this figure stand, which she doesn't really need because she stands really good on her own, but we'll try it out anyway. Having a hard time getting her right foot on it. Maybe because I had it on backwards. There we go. Now we'll put on her glasses. Which the right side fits over her ear, and the left one kind of goes over the hair. You could have it go under the hair, but then it doesn't quite reach the ear. See that little piece of her bang right there? So I recommend you go over her hair. And I think it looks pretty good. One thing I gotta point out is that the retail asking price for this figure is 40 bucks, and I think that's a bit steep. I think most DC Collectibles figures retail for 25 bucks, and we're supposed to pay 40 for this because what? She comes with a really big mallet accessory, and she doesn't have knee or hip or waist joints? I just don't see it. Luckily, I bought this using a gift card, so I didn't end up paying full price, but if you're out there hunting for this, I hope you find one for a little bit cheaper. Unless you think that this is worth 40 bucks, in which case, great, go for it. Either way, you're getting a really solid figure with a great sculpt and a lot of really good personality. Thanks for watching.